If your younger brother is going to get married now, the whole family has to support him. And we already talked about how you are going to pay for the whole wedding as his older sister. So please don't think you can talk your way out of things this time. You're joking, right? Send me $70,000 right now. You already know all of my bank account details, so I expect that money to get into it by the end of the day today. Wait, hold on a second. I literally have no idea what you're talking about right now. Is Davis really going to get married now? And with May? That's what I'm saying right now, aren't I? He's amazing, isn't he? For someone who had been a shut-in all his life, he's finally getting married. And to someone as gorgeous and fun as May, he really is an adult now. Well, he's still a shut-in right now, though, and him getting married now isn't going to change anything. Honestly, I think it's only going to make him worse. You need to stop getting so jealous of him right now just because you're the one that's still single. You're making yourself look like a disgrace. Wait, the reason I can't get married is... Allow me to tell you the reason why you can't get married. First of all, you are very narrow-minded, and second of all, you're always so sassy. And when it comes to the way you speak to others, you're always so rude and defensive. Any one of these things wouldn't be much of an issue, but considering that you have them all, nobody is willing to marry you. Oh, we can also talk about your looks. How dare you talk about your own daughter that way? It's because you're my own daughter that I might be able to talk to you like this. Oh, Jesus. So this is what they mean by having selfish kids that don't care about their parents' feelings. How come you're the one calling me selfish when it's you and David who rely on my income? I think both you and him just don't like the person that I am, right? My goodness. You're always fighting with me like that. Nothing about you has changed from the past. You take a look at your little brother right now and learn from him. That kid is always listening to what I have to say to him, right? Why are you asking me to look and learn at my little brother who doesn't have a job and is always sitting in the house all day playing his video games? Now answer this, Mom. Why are you always spoiling somebody like him when I'm the one who's working my butt off making all the money for this family? Because David happens to be a good little kid for me. He and I never have to talk about him getting a job or him being a shut-in either. He's just a better person than you all around, and that's why I never complain about him. And unlike yourself, he's told me that he'll be willing to show me my grandkids one day. And who do you think is going to be the one to raise that grandchild of yours? Not only does David not have a job right now, but neither does May. I feel like neither one of those jobless shut-ins should be having a kid in this day and age. I'm telling you right now to stop acting so twisted talking about him like that. He's not even here to defend himself right now, which makes you look all the worse. How can you even call yourself a mother right now when you talk to me like this? Jeez, all of this on top of already having to deal with a really suspicious person at work today? Anyway, with you being his older sister, you're going to be the one paying for his wedding, understood? It's going to be $70,000. You can handle that, right? After all, you are the CEO of your own company. I seriously don't have any clue what you were talking about right now. What is going on with you right now? Are you seriously going to get married to May now?
Oh, did you already hear about that from Mom? Well, I seriously am going to get married to her. I heard that by getting married, you're more likely to get help from the government, and that's why I want to marry her.
So that's your reason for wanting to be with her?
Well, of course, that's not the only reason I want to be married to her. For May and I, it already feels like we're both living together, and I'm sure if I get married to her right now, it'll make Mom feel a whole lot better about herself, right?
Well, if you want to make Mom feel better about herself, how about you get a job?
Lena, I feel as though I've already told you this before. I am a pro gamer right now, and that means playing games is my job.
Listen, David, I don't mind you calling yourself a pro gamer or anything like that, but at least start calling yourself that once you're making some money.
And to make sure that I make a lot of money as a pro gamer, I have to continue to practice over and over again. When it comes to us gamers, playing every day is the best thing we can do for ourselves. It's like being a pro athlete, training over and over again for the big day.
And if you were a real pro gamer, I would support you in what you're doing. I, for one, actually happen to like video games myself and have watched a lot of esports tournaments before. But listen, David, have you ever even been in a gaming tournament before?
Recently, I haven't had the time to get into the tournaments, but I'm telling you, the next tournament that comes up, I'm gonna play in it and leave some lasting impressions. And that's why right now I'm not even sleeping because I'm training so much for those tournaments.
What do you mean you haven't had the correct timing to get into these tournaments? It's not like you're doing anything else with your day, so make time to actually play in them for once.
Either way, you can't keep calling me a shut-in like that all the time. So when it comes to that 70 grand Mom was asking for, make sure you hand it over to her.
If you keep thinking you're not some kind of shut-in, then how about you pay yourself? Are you not aware of how ridiculous everything you're saying is sounding right now?
You're just jealous of me, aren't you, Lena? I know because Mom told me before about you. You happen to still be single and haven't even had a chance with another man in a long time. So when you see me and May having a good relationship with each other, you only grow more jealous and upset.
You're not even listening to what I'm saying anymore. By the way, what is May even doing right now for a living? Can't she at least go out and find a job so you guys can make a little income?
Right now, May is working as a YouTuber, so she's doing the same thing as me right now, working an incredible job inside of her comfortable room, so there's no reason for either one of us to have to leave the house to go work.
Ugh, you are still saying that she's doing those things? Then tell me, David, how many videos has May made so far as a YouTuber?
She's made one video so far, and that was her debut video.
So she's still only made one video so far for her YouTube channel, and that was a half a year ago. Yet you're still going to call her a YouTuber? The both of you really need to have a good look at your reality right now. Like, seriously.
Shut up! You're the one that should be taking a good look at your reality. How about you stop screwing around all the time and go out and find yourself a man who you can marry? Oh, but unlike me, you're both ugly and stupid, so there was never going to be a chance for you to find a man. I think it's best that you start finding a liking in women instead.
I've had enough of this. Even trying to care about your situation right now is going to make me go insane.
Sure, I'm the one who's going insane right now listening to you. Anyhow, you need to make sure to pay that 70 grand to Mom as soon as possible, all right?
God. Excuse me, Lena, but where have you gone off to? I noticed that all of your things have disappeared out of your room as well. I'm sorry, but I ran away from home in the middle of the night. I am no longer going to be affiliating myself with any of you anymore. Well, that is nothing but fantastic news to my ears. Because I'll never, ever have to see you in that arrogant attitude of yours ever again. But just make sure to keep sending your brother and I the money for this house and the food, all right? You're the older sister after all, so that's only natural for you, right? I have no reason to be sending you both money anymore. What? What I just said meant that I am cutting ties to you now. Last night I made that decision and boy, did it feel great. I was wondering why I had to be the one taking care of two useless people, and it came to me that there was no reason for it at all. You hold it right there! Whoever said that you had any right to be cutting ties to David and I? I don't need anyone telling me whether I have the right to or not. Would you like me to go to Dad's grave or something and ask him for permission? You listen here. That's the kind of sassy and arrogant attitude that I'm talking about. You're making it out like you're the one who's better than the rest of us here. Well, that's because I am better than the both of you. Didn't you realize that already? I've been the one paying for literally everything that has to do with the family. From the house and its rent to the food and other crap everyone needs. And it hasn't just been the both of you either recently, but May as well, who just came crawling right in with the rest of us and isn't even adding anything to the family. So no matter how you think of it, I'm the best here. I'm the god of all you heathens. You're having to do all of that for us because we're your family. And remember me, the one that raised you from the moment you were formed in my belly? Excuse me? The only person I ever remember caring for me was Dad. And ever since he passed away, I have had to take his place and work for the rest of you. You really seem to think that we all have to repay you for doing that. You're the one that just said you were the one that raised me all this time in a condescending tone, right? That makes you far more of a dick than I am right now. Well, so be it. Since this is the way you want to handle things, don't even bother coming back to this house anymore. Now that you cried about all of those things, you're feeling a lot better, right? Not at all. I won't be feeling better about things until after I've cut ties to you all completely. Are you still not aware of that either? I'm not going home. Listen, you. If you don't actually come back here, then what are we all going to do? I don't care. How about the three of you do something with your lives and get jobs? What the hell was that? Then what are we supposed to do about David and May's upcoming marriage? You're the older sister, right? Are you telling me that you have no interest in paying for their wedding? Why the hell do I have to hand over $70,000 to you? How about those two just go to the courthouse, hand in their paperwork, and get married without a wedding? It would be practically free that way. They're not going to do that. Oh, you really are such a cold-hearted woman. I am? I wonder who I got that from. With all of that having been said, I am no longer going back home. Goodbye forever now, Mom. You hold your horses, Lena.
Yo, Lena, what do you think you're doing cutting ties to both Mom and me? Are you abandoning all of us now after you left the house without telling a single person?
Actually, yeah, I am abandoning you all. From now on, the three of you will have to figure things out there.
That can't be! If you really do leave us forever, you're gonna be upsetting Mom!
And I am totally fine with her being upset. If anything, I'd love it if she got so upset that she had to cry about it.
What? What do you think Dad up in heaven will think about all of this? I'm sure he's gonna be so saddened by all of this.
I like to believe that Dad will actually be really happy to see me breaking ties with all of you. After all, it was only he and I that actually amounted to anything in the family.
That's not true at all. How could he be happy about you throwing away the rest of your family like that?
Well, hold on a second. You're the pro gamer, aren't you? And you told me that May is still a YouTuber. As long as you both keep doing that, you should be able to support the family off that income, right?
I told you before that I'm not making any income yet with this job. It's not as easy as you think to be able to make a living off of being a professional. Life is not as easy as you think.
I never thought I'd be getting told that by you. Well, anyway, I'm not going to stick around to care for the three of you. And I do not plan to ever hand you guys that $70,000 you're all begging me for.
What? You're not gonna give us that money?
Why are you getting so surprised by me saying that? If anything, I'm the one who's shocked that you feel like your marriage would be worth my $70,000.
But wait, if we don't have that money, we'll be in trouble. Please, Lena, please.
I'm sure that it doesn't cost $70,000 to get married to someone like May.
It's not about the marriage itself, but the fact that I've got to use $70,000 on some other things.
Huh? What was that? What are you planning to do with my money?
I need to pay off my debt. It's getting to that point now where if I don't start to pay it off soon, I'll be in major trouble. And it seems that they already found out about where I live.
Hold it right there, David. Tell me exactly what happened there. What kind of debt did you get into? I didn't even realize that you were in so much debt right now.
It's all because May wanted so many things from me. And so I just thought that later on I'd have you pay back all of that debt for me.
So it was all a lie that you needed the money for a wedding?
I mean, if we were to have a wedding, who all would be willing to actually come to it? Both myself and May have been neats all our life, which would make it a waste of money.
You're being way more open about all of that than I thought. Wait a sec, where did a neat like you even end up borrowing all of that money from then?
I borrowed it from some guys that May knows, and she said they'd be willing to lend me a bunch of money. However, recently they've really been getting on me about paying them back.
What? Wait, does that mean...
They required that I sign for a very high interest rate, and now it's coming to bite me in the ass. I told them about where you worked and everything, but after they visited there, they all came right back to me.
Huh? What the hell do you think you're doing? So that's what that was all about? That strange man that came into the office one day? Hold on, wait, that would mean May is...
That's right. It can't be helped how selfish of a woman she really is. But to me, that kind of a personality is really cute, right?
Think all of this through very carefully, David. Are you not aware that May is most likely associated with that group and is there to help get people into insane debt?
Hey, that's not at all the case. You're just overthinking things now.
I'm not overthinking a single goddamn thing here. The way I'm thinking about all of this is very normal for most people.
I'm telling you that's not the case. There's no reason for her to do something like that. So could you please cut it out now with those stupid delusions you're having about her?
David, cut the bullcrap and take a look around you right now, why don't you? I always knew you had a hard time seeing things for the way they really are, but now you're making it seem as though you're just blind. God.
Shut up about it already! You're just starting to piss me off now saying all of that about me.
You have to understand that I'm telling the truth deep down, right? You've been tricked by her, but you're too afraid to admit it. I know as your older sister that you're not totally stupid. You've always been really calm when approaching everything and have always looked at things thoroughly enough to understand them.
Shut up already! I know that May loves me and that you're just jealous. I've even heard her say that she loves me thousands of times.
David, has there ever been anything the woman has done for you so far?
Well, about that.
And how much have you been getting used by her?
Well, in terms of money, she's used about $40,000.
So you're telling me that you've borrowed and spent $40,000 for the woman, and yet she hasn't done a single damn thing for you? And yet you're still telling me that that right there is love?
I read all over online that things like love don't have to be shown through buying things for the other partner.
I get what you're saying, but she's used you for $40,000 now, right? Are you kidding me? That's the kind of money where you'd expect to get something of monetary value back from her. No matter how much I love someone, if they were to use $40,000 from me, then I'd make sure to let them know that I expect more than just the words "I love you" back in return.
That's just because you're a cold-hearted woman and only care about things. Anyhow, Mary's not the kind of monster you keep on having the delusion that she is. And you know what? Now I'm gonna go and ask her myself about that to prove my point to you. Yo, Mary's gone and run off and I can't find her anywhere.
Are you kidding me?
I didn't think that she'd have to leave the house today, but why would May leave me like this? None of this is making any sense to me.
No, this should all be making really good sense to you now, right? You were used by her to get some money from her loan shark friends.
She left me a note on the kitchen counter. It reads, "Hurry up and pay off that money," in bold letters. This is so strange, actually, because originally it was me that gave all of that money to her.
All she did was force you to take out a loan for a large sum of money and use you for it over time, right? She must have known someone like you would be the easiest person to trick into something like that. She must have also been aware that your older sister is a CEO and knew there would be some real money in you.
No way! I know for sure that May was threatened into doing this to me. She must have just gotten scared because of those men, and that's why she took off. I know that has to be the truth.
If that's really what you want to believe that the reason was, then go right ahead. But if you're only doing that as a way to run from reality, you're better off stopping right now.
What should I be doing about all of this?
Well, I'm not going to sit around and help you with all of that. Now, you get out of that house and learn how to take care of yourself for once. Get yourself a job that actually pays you and live a new life. You can do that, right? Something simple as that. Now, please go out and do that now before it's too late.
I wonder if I can really do all of that.
Honestly, I don't know. But since you're an adult now and have been for years, you should be able to do all of that. It's expected of you in this world. So stop trying to ask me for all of this help. Help yourself instead of trying to ask others. But I'm sure all of that is going to be really tough for you when all you do is make excuses in order to run away from reality, right?
I'm not running away from anything.
The reason you never actually join any gaming tournaments is because you're too afraid to lose, and so you run away, right? If you were to just think about the moment and believe in who you are, then I'm sure you wouldn't end up in as bad of an outcome as you think. But instead, all you do is think about failing, and that's why you turn tail and run the other way.
You!
Now, do your best turning your life around while also figuring out how not to live like a total loser. And try not to upset our dad up in heaven any longer than you already have. What the hell did you end up saying to David? He is so upset and sad now that he won't even respond to any of my calls to him now. I had to show him the reality of his situation. I just hope that with his eyes opened wide to all of it, he'll start to take care of himself more and change for the better. You shut up and come back home right now. Just a second ago, a bunch of strange men arrived at the house and have been encircling it. Those are the guys who have come to reclaim all of that money David took from them. Huh? Reclaim what money? And try your best to help David pay that $70,000 to all of them when they come greet you. After all, it's only you left who can help David out with all that now. Hold on a second. So he's in debt? And what's this $70,000 all about? David is in some terrible debt right now. That $70,000 that he'd been telling you about had nothing to do with his wedding, but with paying off all of that debt he's currently in. And that debt came from May, who took advantage of and tricked David into getting into debt to give her everything she'd asked for before she took off. And the money that he's borrowed was done at an insanely high interest rate. I'm not able to think straight about anything right now. Wait, is that really true? But May was always so... I feel kind of bad for you now, but you're going to have to take great care of David now, all right? Hey, I'm asking you to please come back home right now. I promise not to bully you anymore while you're here. I've finally come around to realizing just how much I appreciate you and the person you are. I'm very sorry, but that's impossible now. I was the first one to have their eyes opened and will not be shutting them anytime soon. I had to see the reason for why I was having to give up all my time and money for you guys. When I figured that the answer didn't even exist, I really started to hate myself. I'm going to think about all of this and learn, okay? That's it. At the very least, can you please pay off all the debt that David is in right now? I'm sure we'll be able to pay you back, all right? How does that sound? Please. You're never going to give me any of that money back. I mean, look at you both. Neither one of you has ever worked in your lives, and yet you're telling me you'll pay me back $70,000? And even if you're to get a job right after, I'm sure you both will get fired or whatever, knowing both of your personalities. That will not happen. I will do my best no matter where I have to work. I promise that you'll get your money back. So could you please give us the money to pay off his debt? If you're saying you'll try your best at whatever job you get, then how about you start right now and use your income to pay off that debt? I'm sure that if you go out there and state that you'll both start to work in order to pay all of that debt off, they will all agree to that. Even I'll step in as a guarantor in this and let them know you're telling the truth. What? You really think that's going to work on them? I think you still have time to make things right. I'm no CEO just for show, you know. And they probably aren't smart enough to distrust you anyway, nor myself, so I think it should all work out. But when this happens, you have to promise that you will work to pay off all that money. Because if you mess up again by doing nothing and not paying back the amount they're owed, then I'm not going to even bother stepping in to help. I understand. I'm sure, though, that you'll have to pay even more as the time goes on, since you're already being affected by the interest. Do your very best, all right? But if you go and leave us forever, David and I won't be able to pay for the rent or anything. I promise that I'll work seriously to pay everything off, so you come back and help us with that, all right? Even with David's help, I won't be able to pay for this place. What are you going on about right now? I am no longer going to be a part of your family anymore. The only family you're going to have now is David, and not another soul else. As family, it's only natural that you go and help them out, right? When I was finished with that conversation with my mom, I went and blocked her number before also deleting her contact in my phone. And I made sure to do the exact same things to David, so I don't think I'll ever be hearing from either one of those two ever again. I did just as I promised and spoke with those men that were surrounding my mom's house looking for David and told them that my mom would be able to pay them back once she got her a job. At first, it seems that both my mom and brother found work and had been trying their best to make the money they desperately needed. But after a couple of weeks, the both of them quit their jobs at the exact same time and started to borrow money from another location in order to pay off the current debt. Sure, that'll buy them a little bit more time for now, but that's only going to prolong the inevitable suffering they'll be getting put through down the road. But considering that the both of them just love to look the other way to reality and run from it, there was only a matter of time before they did all of this to themselves. Now, with those two being in even more debt than they started out battling, they will most definitely not be paying rent for the next couple of months and are on their way to becoming homeless. A few months later, I heard that those two ended up getting beaten pretty hard by the group of loan sharks they had borrowed from after the first group, and that left David totally paralyzed and my mom in a coma, which she's still not out of. But those injuries didn't get given without some sacrifice to those men, as in a last-ditch effort before they came to get their money, David bought a gun and killed one of them. Of course, the court doesn't really agree with what he's done as being a form of self-defense, and now he's on trial for murder and will most likely end up in prison for life. Watching all of this play out from far away has shown me one thing more than anything else, and that's that family was nothing but trouble. I thank God every single day that I was given the chance to escape all of that and change my name so I'm never associated with those two ever again. And now that we're back on the subject of myself, back when I had first ran away from them in the middle of the night, I made sure to make a road trip out of it and drove all the way across the U.S. Luckily, a lot of my work can be done remotely, so my leaders agreed that I could do what I had to escape my mom. And before I knew it, I was in Oregon, signing the contract to a new apartment where I'd be starting. I'm still being asked to go back to the office once a year for our annual meeting, but besides that, I'm free to be here living life like I hadn't just gone through years of pain with my mom and brother. And now understanding that I'm going to have all of my money to myself now, I think it's time that I started to pick up some new hobbies to keep me entertained and make some new friends. And I'd better not forget the most important thing of all of this here. And that's the fact that I finally have the time and energy to go out and find myself a man to marry now.
Hey Molly, are you still up? I just wanted to let you know that I'm going to stay out a bit later to do some bar hopping. If you want to go to bed before me, I would just go ahead and do it. Don't bother waiting up for me at this point. Besides, I just know that if you're still up by the time I get home, you're just going to want to nag me, so go ahead and go to bed now.
Hold on a second. Are you really going to be out all night drinking again? Jake, how many times have we talked about this before? You know that I made dinner for 2 tonight before you told me that you were going to be just a little bit late coming back from work. I really wish you would just tell me earlier if you're going to be going out drinking all night.
There we go. I didn't even have to go home. You just immediately go headfirst into the nagging. I work a hard day job all day, and all I want is a little chance to kick back and relax a little. And instead of words of gratitude for all I do for this family, I just get an old shrew telling me that I drink too much. I would be grateful that I even bothered sending you a message letting you know what I was doing at all.
Well, if you really were thinking about me, then you would have sent me a message about your drinking earlier. I had dinner ready at 6:30 because I thought that you were going to be home soon after that. But instead, I've been waiting at home for hours for you to get back. You know that I cooked dinner for you, so just let me know beforehand that you won't need any.
And how many times have I told you that I don't know what I'm going to be doing on a given day of work? Sometimes I have overtime and have to stay at the office late. I don't get why it's such a big deal how much you cook anyways. If there's leftover, then how about you just have some for breakfast tomorrow? There's really no need to turn this into a huge thing.
But I shouldn't be making such huge portions anyways if you're not going to come home to have it. And what makes you think that I would want to have what I ate for dinner the night before for breakfast? I'd much rather you just tell me what your plans are so I can plan to cook accordingly. Is that really so much to ask?
Of course it is! I'm at work! I don't have time to be giving you every little update about what's going on there. Besides, all you do is stay at home taking care of the kids and having fun, and you really have the gall to complain about me? I would have thought that as my wife, you'd be a bit more sympathetic to all that I'm going through for our family.
Jake, you do realize that I work too, don't you? Sure, it's only part-time, but I also contribute to the household. I even offered to go out and work full-time since you're always complaining about how busy you are. But even at this rate, I basically work as much as you do between my job and taking care of the kids.
Wow, you must really think the earth revolves around you, don't you? You think that a part-time job and playing patty cake with a baby is the same as working like me? You really don't know anything about the real world at all.
And I think that you just want to keep me in the house because you're embarrassed. You do remember how much money I was making than you when I had my job before getting pregnant, right? And I thought that I could have gone on working if we had just split the child-rearing duties more equally. But after we had our second kid and I realized you had no interest in doing anything with them, I knew I had to be the one to quit.
That's right. You should have been the one to quit your job because you're the mother, and that means it's your job to raise the kids. And are you really going to tell me that you'd rather be at a desk all day rather than having all the fun that you do with our children? You really are a special kind of selfish. Do you realize that? I can't believe you don't realize how easy you have it.
Are you kidding me? Do you really think that I'm acting selfishly? You have no idea what it's like to take care of the kids. I mean, when was the last time that you even played with one of our children, huh? And I do work on top of all that I do for them.
You've just had it way too easy on you for way too long. Take it from someone who has a real job. If you tried to say half of what you were saying to a boss out in the real world, they would laugh you out of their office. No one wants to hear some woman complain about how hard it is to raise children when they have no idea what it's like to work a full-time job.
You really think that I'm just complaining? That I'm making some light grumblings or something? I don't have to take that from a guy who, when he gets home, flops right down on the couch, turns on the TV, and ignores the world until I say dinner is ready. The least you could do is take our kids out to do something fun on the weekends, don't you think?
And just are you always trying to make me look like the bad guy in everything, huh? You know you're the reason why I never want to spend any time at home. Maybe if I had a better, kinder wife, then I might actually want to spend some time around my family.
I really just don't get it, Jake. Right after we had our first kid, you were so much better about helping me and listening to me. But then you slowly just started relying on me for more and more things until you started to expect it. And before I knew it, I was taking care of 3 kids. One of them being you.
There you go again, trying to put me down and call me names. But I'm still the one going out and earning all the money for us. You and our little brats need to start learning who is really in charge around here. They need to learn who it is that is really providing for them every single day.
I would still think that I'm the one doing all the providing. If I didn't cook for these children, you would probably just serve them instant noodles. If I didn't clean up around the house, then I already know that there would be piles of garbage up to the ceiling around here. I mean, I'm literally the only one who even goes to the grocery store.
And I already told you that you're the woman. Those are all your jobs. And the fact that you're talking like anyone else should be helping you with those says all that I need to know about you. Honestly, just who do you think you are talking to me like that? You should have known when we got married that your life was going to be one of cleaning up the house and taking care of the kids, and that's it.
You really seem to think that you know so much about women. But even if we were supposed to stay in the house like you think, you still have no idea how much work that takes. Or the skills that go into managing a successful household. Honestly, you're the one who needs to open your eyes and start living in the real world.
Oh, just shut up already. I'm sick and tired of you ignoring the fact that I work hard for this family every single day. And if you have time to be texting me this much, it only proves that you really aren't as busy as you say you are.
I'm sorry, Jake, but can you still not understand that it's this kind of attitude that keeps your family from wanting to spend time with you?
What are you talking about now? You don't know anything about my family. Sure, I may have made some mistakes in the past that make some family members keep their distance, but it's not all my fault. Like my dad. He's always just been super strict, and that's why we don't talk. And my mom has always been taking my brother's side in everything we do.
I really just have no idea how you even managed to live with so many delusions. But I guess it took marrying you to finally realize what a self-absorbed egomaniac you really were. Honestly, do you not see that your family is just waiting for you to apologize and make things right to them? It's still not too late.
You have no idea what you're talking about at all. I don't care if people have a problem with me. That's for them to work out. You keep talking to me as if I'm the one living in some kind of fantasy world when it's really you.
I really just don't even know why I even bother with you. But whatever. It's clear that this conversation has been going nowhere for a while now. I hope you enjoy going out drinking tonight. You can go ahead and help yourself to tonight's leftovers if you get hungry tomorrow.
Excuse me? You really think that you can just talk to me like that? How dare you try and feed me, the breadwinner for the whole family, leftovers?
Oh, my mistake. I guess I'll just set up my alarm so I can wake up extra early to make our breakfast then. It's a good thing that you're easy to cook for. I can basically just serve you the same thing I'm giving the kids.
That's more like it. Now if you'll excuse me, I have a night to enjoy. Bye.
Hey, you old cow! When are you finally gonna divorce your husband, huh? Don't you realize that a woman like you is all dried up and doesn't even have an ounce of charm left in her? All you do is cause Jake pain. When are you going to finally just let him be free of you?
Excuse me? Just who do you think you are to talk to me about my husband that way? Who even are you at all? Where did you get this number? And just how in the world do you know my husband, Jake?
If I knew it was this easy to get a reaction out of you, I would have tried reaching out even sooner.
Okay, seriously, who are you and what makes you think that you can talk to me like this? Hello? I am talking to you. Are you going to tell me who you are or not?
Well, since you insist. My name is Phoebe, but you can just call me Jake's girlfriend. And yes, I do mean that. I'm not just some fling. Jake and I are super serious. In fact, he took me out to this super duper fancy hotel where we're both at right now. And poor Jakey was so tired after we got back to our room that he passed out right away.
Do you have any idea what you're saying to me right now? Do you realize what you're admitting to? You're seriously messaging me to tell me that you've spent the night with my husband in a hotel?
Well, of course. It's really no surprise that he would choose me over you, though. After all, I'm still young and full of life. There's no way that an old woman like you could ever do the kinds of things that I can for my Jake. So consider this my way of drawing a line in the sand. I want you to divorce Jake or else. Do you understand me?
Is this really why you started messaging me today? Are you really with my husband? Is that what you're telling me? He's really actually there right next to you?
Oh, he's right next to me. But he's so tired. After all, him and I had quite a vigorous workout today. So he's here, but he's fast asleep at the moment. Except he fell asleep with his phone unlocked. So I just borrowed it to find your number. And here we are.
I see. So then what you're telling me is that you're communicating with me without my husband knowing. Is that right? Or does he have any idea at all that you had a plan to try and contact me like this?
Of course he has no idea that I'm doing something like this. I just wanted to take care of the problem that is you, myself. And that's why I'm asking you to please just leave Jake alone. Why don't you just divorce him and then you can finally go and live however you want?
Oh, don't you worry about that. I have a job and I am more than ready to leave him. But the thing is that Jake and I have children, so it's not as simple as just choosing to leave him. Besides, my sister's wedding is coming up and I don't want to cause any drama to distract from that. So I'm afraid that you'll just have to wait until the conditions are better for me to leave him.
Wow. Do you really think that I don't know that these are all just excuses you're coming up with to delay the inevitable? You don't even want to leave him. Just admit it.
No, that really isn't it. Especially now that I know my husband has been seeing another woman behind my back. I don't see any point in staying together with him or trying to fix this.
Well, you say that. But then why can't you just start the divorce process now? If you're not going to leave him now, then when is it finally going to happen?
I told you that you'll just have to wait until after my sister has had her wedding and things have settled down. Until then, I'd appreciate it if you avoided contacting me at all. I'm sure that you also have things that you need to arrange before you and Jake can get married, right?
Well, yes. I also have things that I need to take care of before that happens. But I don't want to have to wait so long just to marry my Jakey!
Well, don't worry. All of this should take about a month. I'm sure you can hang out that long.
Hey, don't tell me that you're at your sister's wedding right now. What's the matter with you? Don't you know that my dad's funeral is today? How could you be missing this?
I'm not sure what you mean by that. You knew that my sister's wedding was today, didn't you?
I did. But are you really telling me that you're choosing to go to your sister's wedding instead of my dad's funeral? Is this supposed to be some kind of a joke? Honestly, how did I ever end up with such a useless wife? Well, I want a divorce. What do you think of that?
Sorry, I'm really confused by all of this. I mean, your dad is here at my sister's wedding as well.
Wait, what? What are you talking about? My dad is dead. What kind of game are you trying to pull right now, huh? Are you seeing things? Did you hit your head or something like that?
Jake, I really don't know what you're getting at, but your dad is here looking very alive and healthy. I'm sorry, did I miss something? I'm really not sure what you're going on about.
What is going on over there? I'm at my dad's funeral right now.
Well, I don't know what to say. Are you sure it's your dad's funeral and not just someone with the same name? No offense, but your dad does have a super common first and last name.
But, wait, where's the rest of my family? None of them are here. I don't get what's going on.
Yeah, that's why I was confused as to what you're talking about. All your family is here at the wedding.
But, wait, I don't get it. So, my dad isn't dead? He's really still alive?
That's what I've been trying to tell you. I see him having a conversation with someone right now. So, unless we can all see ghosts over here, I think he's very much alive.
But that doesn't make any sense. I thought that he was dead. I spent all morning crying over him. How is he still alive?
I really have no idea why you thought that your dad was dead, but the thought of you crying is quite funny.
I don't get it, though. How did this happen? Why did I think he was dead?
Well, I just told your dad that you thought he was, and he got mad and said he's still alive and kicking.
Of course I don't know. There must have been some kind of horrible miscommunication. Tell my dad that we're sorry about the mistake.
We? What do you mean by that? I didn't make any mistakes. Unless you mean to say that you're at the funeral with someone else.
No, I just mean me and the person who told me about the funeral. It's who I'm here with.
I see. But I thought you said that none of your family was at the funeral, right? So then who is the person who told you about it?
It's just a friend from work is all. Why do you care about where I found out about this funeral from, huh?
I just mean that I don't think it was anyone who would actually know what was going on that told you about it. I was talking to your mom and she's telling me how confused she is. Apparently you called her earlier today talking about your dad being dead. She thought you were just pulling a prank.
No, I would never joke about something as serious as that. I really thought that he was dead.
Well, there have been other times that you've lied to your family to get them out of the house. But you just did that so you could sneak in and steal from them, remember? It's probably the biggest reason why your family doesn't talk to you even today.
Of course I know that, but I was so sad when I thought my dad had died.
Oh, please. You were probably just making a big show so that you could try and cash in on his will. But it's too late for that to ever happen. Now your family knows who you really are.
Well, I guess this means that I have a free day at least. You can have fun at the wedding and getting to know my family and all, though. I think I'll just enjoy the free day that I realize I have now.
Yeah, you go ahead and do that. After all, it's probably going to be the last good day you have for a while.
What are you talking about? Just what business of yours is it how much fun I have? Are you trying to tell me not to spend too much money?
No, it isn't that at all. I only meant that I want to get a divorce.
Wait, what? A divorce? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the fact that you're seeing another woman behind my back. That's why I want a divorce.
What in the world are you even talking about right now, Molly?
Oh, don't play dumb, Jake. You should know that she started sending me messages bragging about being with you. Her name is, Phoebe, right? You really need to keep a closer eye on her.
Wait a second. Did Phoebe really message you about us?
That's right. And here you thought it was going to be your little secret forever. She must have been why you said you were going to be too busy to come to this wedding anyways. But now I know the truth, and I want to end things with you.
Now hold on just a second. You haven't told any of my parents about any of this at all, right?
And why shouldn't they know that you found a girl that you want to be with? I've only explained to them that we're splitting up because you're seeing someone else. Of course, the two of you should know that I'm going to be suing you both for the affair.
Hold on a second. Don't you think that's taking things too far? At least let me try and explain myself to you.
I really don't care at all what excuses you might have for yourself. The fact of the matter is that you were cheating on me. You've been talking down to me this whole time about how I don't do enough for this family, and meanwhile, you're out staying the night at hotels with stupid girls who expose your plans to your wife. If you want someone to listen to your excuses, you can tell them all to my lawyer, who will be getting a copy of all our conversations. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a wedding to enjoy. After that, Jake rushed over to where the wedding was happening, but the staff at the door told him they were instructed specifically to keep him out. He tried to call to the people in the venue for help, but no one could hear him. In the end, he went back home where I left signed divorce papers on the kitchen table for him to sign as well. After that, the divorce process went over rather smoothly. It turns out that Phoebe wasn't a serious girlfriend of Jake's, but a woman he had met on an app and was hooking up with. It didn't stop me from suing them both and getting a handsome payout, however. I heard that Jake ended up getting fired from his job for poor performance a while later. He tried moving back in with his parents, but they were even more upset with him after this and turned him away. Now, I hear that Jake lives in a tiny little apartment at the edge of the city, working multiple jobs just to make ends meet and pay back the debt he accrued from the lawsuit and divorce.